Hello there and welcome to Schofield Studios. And today I am finishing my walkthrough through the original trilogy of Star Wars. As today I'm finally reviewing the last one, Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And after this I go to the sequel trilogy. Tell me in the comments if you've seen the movie, and if so, did you like it? Now sit back, relax, and let's begin. And ends the original trilogy in a very good way. It resolves a lot of plot lines, a lot of character arcs. I thought the first 18 minutes, even though being a way to get the characters back together in the quickest way possible, I thought it was still a great section of the film. There was a lot of great action throughout the whole movie. The chase in the woods was probably the best looking action scene. And of course, the finale of the film, where there's the Empire fighting the rebels. A very well-directed, very good battle. You could feel your heart racing. It just finds a great way to add suspense to it. And a lot of tension. It really pops from the directing. I think the directing is great. Not as great as in The Empire Strikes Back, but still very good. They also expand the world of Star Wars a little bit more, trying to make us have a better understanding. They go to different planets. We actually get to see how strong the rebels are, how much people they have. And the whole movie just looks great. There's big, expensive rooms. You can kind of tell that they're green screen. But still, for the time this was made, very good type of settings and set pieces. Like, a lot of work went into every scene. And it also has great emotional moments. Like in the last third of the film, the final act, I thought of Darth Vader versus Luke. It was executed very well. The music was good. And there was an emotional core to it. So they do a good job bringing out emotion. And basically, the whole final act, it's just very good. There's great practical effects. There's a lot of heart-racing action, and basically just ends the whole trilogy in a very satisfying way. And that was it for the good, but as I said, there are some flaws, so let's go on to the bad. And I basically think this is the weakest and most flawed Star Wars movie from the original trilogy. For instance, they basically don't have the premise to carry out a whole 2-hour and 16-minute film. The whole point of this movie? For them to take out the Death Star 2 and win the war. But they have to spend that for a 2-hour and 16-minute runtime. And then in the first 18 minutes, they have to get all the characters back very quickly. So the whole movie feels pasted together because they just don't have a premise to make a 2-hour movie from. So they add this stuff, like, for instance, I thought the Ewoks just felt added in for runtime. When Luke goes back to Yoda, it feels a little bit longer than it has to be. And they also waste perfectly good characters. Vader barely gets any runtime in the movie. Boba Fett, he just gets killed off in the first 18 minutes and doesn't do anything. Jabba the Hutt, even him just doesn't get that much stuff to do. And basically, they just waste some of these great characters. So overall, the whole movie just feels like a clunky, out-of-touch attempt to end the original trilogy. And because the writers kind of just wrote themselves into a corner from The Empire Strikes Back, and then they have to take this short premise, make it like a 2-hour movie, they add a Death Star 2 that felt kind of added in and unnecessary. Also, quick little mention, there's a very bad CGI dance scene in the first 18 minutes. Probably one of the worst Star Wars scenes. Very weird. So I thought I'd just add that to the bad. But finally, the last flaw is that it's also the most forgettable Star Wars film. I felt like I was watching a totally different movie even though I only saw this movie 6 months ago. So basically it's very forgettable, and all I remember was Jabba's palace, Death Star 2, of Force, Ewoks, and that's it. The rest of the movie just felt very, very new to me, so basically just felt very forgettable. You don't remember any of it, and doesn't really stand out in your mind. But that was it for the bad, so let me go on to my final ranking. And this is going to be a very hard one for me to put a number ranking, because on its core, a majority of the film, it's kind of bad. I mean, not really bad, but compared to the rest of the trilogy, it just has clunky pacing, very weak plot. But then you get to the last third of the film, and they have this very great action. There's emotional core, there's great music, and a lot of character arcs are resolved, so it just finds a very satisfying way to end the trilogy. So, kind of fluctuating there. So, I thought I'd actually give it a 7.8 out of 10. Very mediocre, yet still a very good film. I just thought it wasn't really a perfect film. It was very flawed, and that's why I couldn't put it any higher. It was entertaining, don't get me wrong, and yes, it's a Star Wars movie. It was good. It was just mediocre at the same time. It was very flawed and just stands out as the weakest of the original trilogy. So when you get to the first 2 parts of the movie, it's not really that great. I actually call it on some extent a little bit bad. Not really bad, but mediocre. But that last 1/3 and the opening scene saved it. And that's where I'm at with this movie. It's a film that has clunky editing and writing, but it's saved by doing some things right. Doing some big things right. So that's where I'm at with this film. And thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe and click the bell if you want to see more from me. Tell me in the comments if you want me to review any movies you like in the future. I would be happy to take suggestions. This has been Schofield Studios, where you're the audience, and cut.